Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
Croatian versus Serbian. What's the difference?
If someone started speaking to you in Croatian, would you understand them if you only knew Serbian or the other way around? Hi everyone, my name is Anastasia and I've been living in Croatia for almost 4 years now, and just recently I've visited Serbia for the first time. The trip made me wonder, what is the real relationship between Croatian and Serbian? And I have to admit that's kind of embarrassing, but before moving here, I knew almost nothing about Croatia or Serbia or the Balkans in general. But once I
where she's
came,
from.
I don't know. She speaks with an accent,
Ooh.
Anastasia. Anastasia, so Russian, Ukrainian.
Mm.
4 years ago, could be Ukrainian. But it's interesting. How you know to a country and you don't know nothing about?
Yeah.
That's to me. I feel like if I was to move somewhere, I would do my research, know everything about the country. It's possible to know without actually going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
here and started to learn Croatian, that was inevitable. I started discovering more about Serbian and other languages in this region. So, if we really want to understand the differences and similarities between Serbian and Croatian, we can skip a little bit of history
Maybe
because
she's
to
not from
understand
the
these languages
Balkans
today,
No, no, I don't think she's from the Balkans. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's. To me, the name Anastasia is Russian, so it's gonna be like, as I said, Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian, something like that.
we need to see where they come from. So let's look back at some history. It's not going to take long or be really boring, I promise, at least I hope so, but yeah. Early beginnings. The South Slavs arrived in Balkans around 6th to 7th centuries. They spoke an early form of the Slavic
AI.
language, the common ancestor of all the Slavic languages we know today. It's called Common Slavic or Proto-Slavic, which later split into different dialects. In the areas of modern-day Croatia and Serbia, the Slavic language split into three main dialects: Shtokavian, Kaikavian, and Chakavian. These dialects became the foundation for what would later grow into modern day Croatian and Serbian languages. The main dialect that became the base for both Croatian and Serbian is Shtokavian dialect. But there were two other dialects, Kaikavian and Chakavian, as I mentioned, in Croatia, which influenced the language and are still part of Croatian identity. Meanwhile, in Serbia, Shtokavian was dominant and later shaped the standard Serbian. If you want to know a little bit more about dialects, I already have a video about how to learn Croatian, so in case you are learning Croatian, you'll find this useful because there are lots of resources, tips, and interesting facts about Croatian language. For centuries, Croats and Serbs lived under different empires. Croats were mostly under Habsburg monarchy or later Austro-Hungarian Empire, while Serbs were mostly under Ottoman Empire. But some parts of Croatia were also ruled by the Ottoman Empire, so both languages absorbed some Turkish words. However, overall, still
Burek.
Croatian shows stronger Central European influence.
Hold up, let's take a look at that burek again. Oh, you know what it looks like?
What?
The Greek spinach pizza we ate. Not
Mm-hmm.
pizza. It was
I was, no, spanakopita.
yeah, spanakopita. Yeah, like the pie looks exactly the same.
I want that now.
And Serbian was shaped more by the Ottoman influence. For example, Croatian borrowed more from German and Serbian borrowed more from Turkish. 19th century, the idea of one language. In the 19th century, during the national awakenings in Europe, there was a movement to unite South Slavs. Intellectuals proposed common language for Croats and Serbs based on the Shtokavian dialect. This was seen as a way to unite nations closer, although each part still wanted to preserve their own national identity. 20th century, one language, two standards. During Yugoslavia, the language was officially called Serbo-Croatian or Croato-Serbian, but in practice there were two centers of standardization, one in Zagreb, where the linguists, the schools, and
That's impressive.
media
She
followed the
is able to
Croatian.
pick up all this information, given that she didn't know anything about it like 4 years ago.
Yeah, that it's interesting she's doing this because to me this is gives like something that a Croatian teacher would
Yeah.
do, but for her who doesn't seems to just
Mm-hmm.
learn the language not too long ago, I do agree that is interesting that she knows all that.
Tradition and one in Belgrade, where the institution in Serbia followed the Serbian tradition. So people learned almost the same grammar, but spelling rules, preferred words, and even style of expression was slightly different depending on where you were in Croatia or in Serbia. After the 1990s, separate identities. With the breakup of Yugoslavia, the languages separated again and they become Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian, and later Montenegrin. Each country emphasized their own standard, choosing words, spelling, the expressions that reflect their national identity. Today, linguists say that they're still mutually intelligible, however, politically and culturally, they are treated as different and separate languages. This was a really short history lesson. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for my channel. And we will move from
That's
theory and
impressive.
history to practice and real life today. Today, the most obvious difference is in vocabulary. Both languages share
Really?
a huge amount of words, but there are sometimes
Vocabulary, she said to me, the most obvious difference is alphabet. Serbian uses Cyrillic and Croatians use Latin alphabet. That's the most obvious difference, I would say.
different words for everyday things. For example, praying in Croatian is vlak, in Serbian it's voz. Bread in Croatian it's kruh, in Serbian it's hljeb. Thousand in Croatian it's tisuća, in Serbian it's hiljada. Airplane in Croatian it's zrakoplov, in Serbian it's avion. To give you an even clearer picture of how Croatian and Serbian words look like in real life, I filmed some signs for you in Croatia and in Serbia. So we will compare different words like a store, a bakery, and so on.
So, the street in Croatian is ulica, in Serbian it's also ulica, but written in Cyrillic. Souvenir shop is suvenirnica in Croatian, and it's suveniri in Serbian, basically means souvenirs. Pharmacy is lekarnia in Croatian, and in Serbian it's apoteka. Kazalište is the theater in Croatian, and in Serbian it's pazorište. The bank is banka in Croatian and banka in Serbian. Trg Slobode, which is the square of freedom, is the same in Serbian and in Croatian. Trg Slobode. Mjenjajnica, which is the exchange office, is also the same. Mjenjajnica in Serbian. For rent is zanajam or izdaje se in Serbian. Flower shop is cvjećarnica in Croatian and cvjećara in Serbian. The driving school is autoškola in both. Then we have bakery, pekarnica in Croatian and pekara in Serbian. Then no
Similar.
parking, which is zabranjeno parkiranje in both Serbian and Croatian. And museum is
The
muzej
sign
in
is
both.
straightforward. You can understand that you're gonna get told.
But I do think she's, coming from already a Slavic country. I think the language should be pretty easy for her to learn, though. Because, like, even to me, like, I'm not fluent in Russian. I can understand the word here and there. Like, I can understand a little bit of Like, some of these words I do understand. Like, it's the same in Russian.
Both Serbian and Croatian.
So if you travel between two countries, you'll quickly notice these little differences. And from myself personally, I want to add that in Croatia, I hear different variations. Some people don't say zrakoplov, they say avion, or they say hiljada instead of tisuća. So my personal guess is that both Serbs and Croats know both variations, and they just use them depending on their personal background. Now, while I was showing the signs to you, you've probably noticed the difference already. Croatians only use the Latin alphabet, and Serbian uses both Cyrillic and Latin alphabet, although Cyrillic is the official alphabet in Serbia. Most Serbs can read and write both alphabets, but we cannot say the same about Croatians. Because in Serbia, children learn both alphabets in school, Cyrillic and Latin, so most Serbian people can read and write in both alphabets without any problems. In Croatia, however, the only official script is Latin. Cyrillic is not taught in school, so most Croatians cannot read Cyrillic as easily as Serbs can read Latin. Some people in Croatia, especially older
Croatian is
generations
Latin.
or those who learn
Latin. I don't know how it is in, like Russian. But in Lithuanian, like, it's Lotinu. So it's kind of Latin similar.
Russian or another Slavic language can read Cyrillic. However, that's more of an exception than a rule. And here is an interesting fact. Serbian Cyrillic is different from the Cyrillic in Russian, Ukrainian, and Belarusian. Some letters are completely different and they are unique to Serbian. But if you know
Oh, wow.
Cyrillic,
Yeah,
it's
these are interesting. I never seen these letters
letters are
over.
completely different and they are unique.
Wow. I think the second letter, it's like L combined with like a softener, because that little B, it's in Russian, I think that's a softener, like it softens. Softens the letter. So I think it's like a soft L.
How would you pronounce it?
L. L. Not L, but L. And then the third one, I think, is the same soft N, N, like something like that.
Ah, okay.
The third from the left. The J, I don't know. I don't know. The others, I don't know. Those honestly look like Thai or something. I don't even know.
The last two almost look similar.
Yeah. Oh, not Thai. No, it look like Georgian.
My own experience, when I watch reels or short videos from Croatians or from Serbians, I don't really know who that is. I cannot immediately tell whether it's a video from a Serbian or from a Croatian creator. The languages sound so similar that for me it's hard to distinguish them. And what's also interesting that most bloggers in Serbia, they use Latin script for their subtitles. My guess is because this way they can reach a wider audience, since Latin is
Makes
easier.
sense if, Serbs understand it, but also Croats understand it. And I'm sure like people from other parts of Yugoslavia would understand it too easier. So just a wider reach.
For more people to read. But it also means that when I scroll through videos, I cannot distinguish whether it's a Serbian or a Croatian creator right away. Yeah, maybe later I will be able to do that. The pronunciation is very similar, but there are some small distinctions. For example, Croatian sounds maybe sharper, more like Central European, and Serbian sounds softer and maybe kind of more melodic. It's hard to tell the difference, especially if you're not a native speaker, but native speakers usually can tell them apart. Grammar is almost identical, but there are differences in spelling conventions. For example, Iyakavian versus Ekavian pronunciation or spelling system. Croatian standard is Iyakavian, and Serbian standard can be Ekavian, can be Iyakavian, but more Ekavian. What does that all mean? For example,
She
if we
knows
take
both
a word
languages.
milk,
Whoa.
And English and whatever her language
The
is.
only way
Well,
natural,
yes, both
delicious
languages.
pineapples from the
in Croatian,
They are kind of similar. It's like.
Is that a padlock?
As what?
Padlock.
Padlock?
Someone who knows 5 languages.
Oh, polyglot.
Polyglot.
Yeah, polyglot.
Because she knows English, she knows Serbian, she knows Croatian, she knows her own language.
Can we categorize them as two separate languages, or are they just dialects, though? That's the question.
These are the languages.
If they're languages, that's very easy. Two languages to know. It's kind of. It's easy.
It's like I know English and then British English.
It's essentially it is similar, but I think for historic reasons they do want to keep them separate languages, though. So like
Because they're different.
it's like instead of calling British English American English, we just called it as British and American. Like, oh, I speak American, I speak British,
It's different type of English.
But it does seem like I think your comparison is good based on this. It does seem that's kind obviously the alphabet is different, but aside from that, I do
And
think
Canadian English.
the similarities is like it's kind of like more like a dialect than a separate language, though.
it's going to be mlijeko, and in Serbian it's going to be mleko. Or let's say time. In Croatian it's vrijeme, and in Serbian it's vreme. There is actually a
Vreme is
third
Russian, I
spelling
think,
system,
too.
which is called Ikavian. This one is popular is used in some Dalmatian regions of Croatia.
Because
some
even like in their own country, in different parts, they speak differently with that language.
And yes, we have. You guys did say that, like in Croatia too, in different regions, like they pronounce it different. Because when we did the pronunciation of the words, you guys said that it really more depends on the region. So, yeah.
dialects, but this means that in case for milk and time,
It's just I think it's a little more complex than like British American English is, because there's the history, the whole wars. So they don't really want to. I don't think Croats want to claim that their language is Serbian, and I don't think Serbians want to claim that their language is Croatian.
If you tell your English in America is the same as the English, they can like it's also
I mean, there was a war. You're right. There was a war, between the Brits and Americans. Just longer ago.
Aluminum.
Aluminium. Aluminium.
Yeah.
Mliko and vrime. And it just works like that for other words. Now, I said that the grammar is almost identical, but there are some things that you can also notice. For example, in Croatian, people more often they use infinitives, like, for example, I want to sleep, they would say želim spavati. And in Serbian, they try to avoid infinitives and they say želim da spavam, which literally would mean like, I want that I sleep, that I'm sleeping now, something like that.
That's
We already
interesting.
mentioned vocabulary and the borrowings, but I'll just quickly mention that because of the history, Croatian borrowed more words from German, Italian, and Hungarian, and Serbian borrowed more words from Turkish and Russian origins. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my speaking experience in Serbia. I went there with my partner and we went to a coffee shop where I asked the waiter on purpose what kind of coffees they had so she could speak for a little longer. We understood her with no problems, she understood us. Then we met our friend in Serbia who is Serbian, and we spent about 2 hours together talking all the time, him in Serbian and us in Croatian. At least we tried our best, and there was no difficulties in communication. After that, we went to a restaurant. The menu was in Latin. The bills are also in Latin. I mean, Latin script, not Latin language. And then, yeah, there was no difficulties communicating with the waiter there. And then another coffee shop where I asked the waiter about the difference between cappuccino and kava s mlekom, which is coffee with milk, and also like some ice cream taste, a little small talk. And yeah, there is no language barrier whatsoever. But let's not forget an important detail. I live in the region of Slavonia, and here Shtokavian dialect is spoken. And as we learned today, it is also the standard of the Serbian language. So, Croatian from this part of Croatia and Serbian are very similar. However, there are two more main dialects in Croatia, Kajkavian and Chakavian, and these dialects will have more differences with Serbian than Shtokavian. Regional dialects in Croatia and Serbia can differ a lot.
Yeah, but I think it also kind of goes with the same point. They would have the same language barriers in Croatia if they came to Slavonia with those dialects. It would be the same thing.
In theory, if we took someone from Istria, let's say someone who lives close to Italy and they speak some Croatian mixed with Italian loanwords, and maybe we take someone from Eastern Serbia, somewhere near Romania, who also speak a strong dialect, these two people might have difficulties understanding each other, again, in theory. In practice, the standard Croatian and the standard Serbian languages are based on the same dialect, Shtokavian dialect. This one is taught in schools, this one is used in the media, this one you will learn if you're learning Serbian or Croatian. So,
Because, yeah, remember that video we did with the guy? I think Brad, his name, he said, oh, why he quit learning Croatian? Because, like, oh, he learned this dialect and then he went to another place and he couldn't understand nothing. Yeah, I think that's the whole point. Like, there's dialects, yeah, sure, but there's the standard that's taught in school. And that standard will understand the Serbian standards. Now, if you a strong deviation from the standard and you don't understand the standard, you might be in trouble. But that I think that's a small case.
both languages are really close and mutually intelligible, and people who speak some certain dialect, they usually switch to standard Croatian or standard Serbian when they speak with someone outside of their region or they know that this is a foreigner. By the way, if you are a foreigner and you're thinking about moving to Croatia, I have a really nice video about the pros and cons of living in Croatia after having lived here for almost 4 years. So I highly recommend you check this out here. Hopefully you'll find it useful. But yeah, many people actually compare Croatian and Serbian with British and American English. And in some ways
Oh,
that's true. The grammar is almost the same, the main difference are only in
we just did.
vocabulary and spelling. But unlike British and American English, Serbs and Croats don't see their language as the same language. For them, it's a matter of their national identity. So while yes, linguistically it's similar to British and American English, culturally and politically, it's a much more sensitive topic. So, as you can see, the answer to the question, are Croatian and Serbian languages the same?
I think I get it. I understand what you say. It's just not a lot of time has passed since the wars. Like the American British War was like what in the 1700s. It's been a long time. I think in 200 years from now, if there's no further wars, if everything stays the same, I think our great 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 grandchildren can be reacting on another tube and to this video and talk about, oh yeah, it's the same yeah, but right now, because of the history is so recent, the people that still live through there, like we literally see people singing about it that was at that. I understand why they want to recognize that's different.
Same is not that simple. It's not a simple yes or no. Because if you say no, can I then say I'm a polyglot? I speak 10 languages and 4 of them would be
Wow,
Croatian,
did we watch this video before? Because all the questions we raised, she's addressing.
Montenegrin, and Bosnian. I guess no. And nobody actually says so. Well, some foreigners say so to make an impression, like I speak so many languages, but if you look at those languages linguistically, it's almost the same, right?
No, I think
But
it's
then there is
impressive when they're so different from one another. Instead of, oh, you kind of build off of this language to get to this language.
Okay, but by that, somebody who speaks five languages, you can't say they're a polyglot. If you speak Portuguese,
No.
Spanish, Italian, and French, all like a lot of words are in common. Like those are very easy. Like if you speak
Nah,
one, you can easily
you're just
learn the
arguing
others.
with me just to argue with me.
No,
You know what I'm trying to say.
no, whatever, man.
Like if you want to say include like I speak English, British English, Canadian
Oh
English.
no, yeah, that's
I-
that's just
Caribbean
being extra.
English.
That's just being extra.
That's like
Now Caribbean English, I don't know. That might as well be a whole other English because that
why,
accent,
no? No, it's not.
that
No, it's
accent is
not. No,
something
you
else.
know the accent
Oh,
that's
boy.
rough is a Canadian accent.
No, all they do is oh,
No,
That's the only
Canadian
thing they do.
accent is-
House,
I don't understand
mouse.
the words coming out their
That's
mouth.
the only thing.
I
No,
don't understand
Caribbean
that.
English.
Caribbean, I
my
understand them
God.
perfectly fine.
Caribbean English and also another English, Nigerian English too is hard to understand.
I understand them perfectly.
Mm.
and people want to keep their personal identity and culture, and they want to have their own language, and we should respect that, in my opinion. But yeah, if you're from Croatia or Serbia, maybe even
Even one
Bosnia or
time
Montenegro,
from
let me know what you
the
think.
British when they're having a converse like in their own language, you don't understand anything they're saying. Like they start saying tap, scallywag.
Scalp.
No, I don't.
I become conditioned to British a little. I watch some British TV shows. I can understand British a little easier. Let me see where she's from. Does she say where she's from? She does not. My experience teaching English in Thailand. Oh well, that's interesting. No, a lot of her videos about learning English. My German. Oh, she's learning German. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't say where she's from. I wonder.
You check the bio.
Can you really learn like my 1 month Polish challenge? So she's not Polish. Okay. Master Russian. I do think she's either Russian or Ukrainian. No, she doesn't say in bio where she's from.
Wow, that's two complete opposites. Russian or Ukrainian.
Okay. Way to set me up.
You did it. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.